Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger, and up next on the GM, Ravens versus Jags post-game reaction. Do me a quick favor, hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. So the Baltimore Ravens get a big-time win on Sunday Night Football against the Jaguars last night in Jacksonville. And um, there's three things I learned, both offensively and defensively, that I want to kind of share with you guys and see what you guys think. Let's start offensively. Um, the first thing I learned offensively last night is that it's still kind of Lamar or bust with this offense. That could be bad, that could be good, but right now that just kind of is what it is. Lamar Jackson was the number one catalyst for the run game getting going. And then Keaton Mitchell, who we lost last night, to a knee injury, he's likely out, for the rest of the season. Big time loss for us for sure. But it was Lamar Jackson's running that helped spur that run game on, and I think it was more of the scrambles that turned into runs versus him just having called run plays. But right now we're still, kind of 90% Lamar or bust. And I would love to be able to lean more on the run game versus it being Lamar having to spur on the run game. I would love to see Lamar become a complement to the run game, meaning Gus, Justice Hill, and then now maybe Melvin Gordon power that run game, and then Lamar fills in those gaps versus Lamar having to rush for almost 100 yards, and then they fill in around him. But it is what it is. So I think that right now what we're seeing, it is going to be Lamar Jackson or bust. And I know that that is the case for a lot of teams. If their quarterback doesn't make all the plays, then that offense and that team doesn't go. And I know that's normal, but I would love for the load that Lamar Jackson carries to be distributed a little more equally. And maybe that's something we can get into with 3 games left on our schedule. The second thing I learned or noticed offensively is that Ronnie Stanley is on his last legs. I'll say it that way to be nice. Ronnie Stanley, you could see it, if you're watching the game, and you could also hear it in the telecast analysis that he was just having trouble moving. His knee and ankle still must be bothering him. He's just not uh, close to being 100%, which is probably the reason for the rotation. And what you've seen from Ronnie Stanley over the last couple of weeks, since he's been battling these injuries, and truthfully, nobody's 100% this time of the year, but what you've seen from Ronnie Stanley is that he has made some penalties and some mistakes because he's not as mobile and as flexible and as fluid. And so when it comes to Ronnie Stanley, I think it is time to um, maybe sit him. I know he's going to probably be in concussion protocol based on his injury from last night, but I think it's time to sit him over the next 3 weeks and let him get healthy. We've already clinched a playoff spot. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens for doing that. And so I think letting him sit 3 weeks, if we can kind of get that bye, if we can go 2-1 and get that bye, that'll actually give Ronnie Stanley a month, almost 5 weeks if I'm counting the next 3 games, the bye week. So it almost gives Ronnie Stanley a month and a week to get healthy. So when he shows up in the playoffs, he can be mostly right. That's what I think the Baltimore Ravens need to do, regardless of his concussion status, regardless of if he's ready to go next week. I think they have to sit him because going into the playoffs, we have to get him more right than what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. So that's the second thing I noticed from last night. The third thing I noticed offensively is over the last few weeks, um, they haven't been able to find Zay as consistent. Now, I know Zay made some big plays last week, so that's not what I'm saying. But when you watched basically the last 4 games that the Ravens have played, um, Zay has been less involved. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But like even last night, it was later in the game before he had his first catch. And I think he only ended up with 2, maybe 3. I didn't even look check the box score before I did this video. But I think he's too dynamic not to be more involved. Um, and so I think that they have to make more of an effort to make sure that we get Zay involved. Another thing I noticed, kind of a bonus, another thing I noticed offensively is that the ball seems to be spread around more without Mark Andrews. That's no knock to Mark Andrews, but it seems to be going in a lot more places. Uh, since Andrews is out, and I think that's going to benefit us as we move down the season, the rest of the season, and into the playoffs. I think Isaiah Likely is filling in admirably in replace of Mark Andrews. In fact, I got more than 3 things I noticed as I'm thinking about this thing. I don't have notes, so I kind of go off the cuff, so to speak. But Isaiah Likely is filling in very, very well, making big time catches. And he was one of my keys to victory. I said they had to get him involved. And I think that it's becoming more and more true. Isaiah Likely looks uncoverable. His athleticism kind of leaps off the page. He's definitely more athletic than Mark Andrews. I'm sorry for you guys who are Mark Andrews fans. I am also a Mark Andrews fan, but Isaiah Likely is faster, a little more fluid, and he's more athletic than Mark Andrews. Now, he doesn't have the credentials that Andrews has just yet, but I think that as we watch Isaiah Likely get more and more playing time, what's going to happen is we're going to see his development um, rise more and more every opportunity that he gets. Um, I thought that um, we didn't take advantage of the Jacksonville secondary enough. They were playing without a starting safety and a starting corner, and we only hit them up for like 160, excuse me, 176, something like that in the pass game. I thought we could have done more damage than that. Um, and I know some of that was because of the spotty line blocking. There was times where Lamar Jackson had a lot of time to pass, and there was times where he was kind of on the move several plays in a row. So, and it was spotty at best, and so that's something we got to tighten up as we go down the rest of the season. I thought Charlie Kolar showed some athleticism and some catchability last night. Maybe something we get into. Maybe we get into some 2 tight end sets. Charlie Kolar is a big guy with some speed and some athleticism. He's 6'6", wide catch radius. Made a big time catch going down towards the goal line last night. So I would like to see him get a little more involved. I think that the Ravens are going to have to add some pieces, and we'll talk about that in another video to kind of add some veteran depth and things like that as we get ready to go on this playoff run. Let's jump to the defense side of the ball. I think defensively, the Ravens got off to a difficult showing when it came to stopping the run early in that game. Travis Etienne and then that other guy, Jones or either Johnson, I can't remember his name. They were running the ball early in that game for 6 and 7 yards a run, which was really, really uh, worrying to me to watch them do basically what they wanted to do in the run game. And Jacksonville really kind of shot themselves in the foot because they were really running the ball well. There was nothing that the Ravens were doing to stop that run, and then they would just do something dumb and screw it up. I don't care though. I don't care that they do that they do something stupid. I appreciate the opportunity to take advantage of their mistakes. But I think we have to scheme better against good run teams. Because every team we play going down the stretch, minus the Steelers, both the Dolphins and the 49ers are excellent run teams. And so um, we've been putting some tape out there that will allow other offenses to scheme against our team in the run game, which then will make them twice as hard to cover, especially if they can get off in the run game and do some things in the pass game. So we have to figure out how to tighten that up. I got some suggestions coming up later on this week. Please stay tuned for that. Another thing I noticed is that, and I'm not sure, I haven't watched any tape, and I probably won't. This is just kind of a right now thought. We haven't really seen Roquan and Patrick Queen play downhill much over the last 3 or 4 games, which are in line with the Ravens not being able to stop the run. I'm not sure if that means our interior linemen have been getting pushed off the ball. That's probably what that means, but we haven't seen the the downhill smash mouth style that we've seen earlier this year, which is a little concerning. I also thought that Roquan and Queen got lost in pass coverage a couple of different times. I think there are some things we got to tighten up. And I also saw that our blitz package last night was not effective. We only left that game with 1 sack, um, which was by Metabuke. Well, actually, we had two, but one got canceled out by penalty. But I think that we have to scheme the blitz a little better. We didn't see Arthur Millette blitz much at all last night. He's a great blitzer off the edge. I don't remember seeing Kyle Hamilton blitz much last night. He's pretty good off the edge. I think we have to do some things schematically, excuse me, uh, to make our blitz package more effective. Um, Another thing I saw on the defensive side of the ball is that our edge rushers were not even close to getting home last night. Um, Trevor Lawrence had time to do whatever he wanted to do back there in the pocket, whether he wanted to scramble left or scramble right. He took off running in the fourth quarter a couple different times, which turned into big runs, that kind of stuff. And I didn't see and haven't seen Clowney really get off of the last couple of weeks. Hadn't seen Calvin Noe, and I don't even remember hearing anything about Odafe Owe last night. So that's kind of concerning as we get closer to the playoffs. Um, I thought our pass defense was pretty good for the most part. Um, I think that what really caused us to give up the most yards was that one big play that Trevor Lawrence threw to the rookie. I think he's a rookie wide receiver, the guy who went for 65 yards on the one play. If you take that 65-yard play off, and I know you can't because that's part of the game, I think Lawrence would have right around 200 yards passing. But he made a big time throw. He made a big time catch, and they went to the house. So I think that um, again, our coverage was pretty good last night. All things considering, especially when we didn't have a pass rush, and especially when our run game did not get home, I thought that to be able to hold up in coverage was pretty good. Did see JAD go down last night. I'm not sure what the status of his injury was. Um, Saw Marcus Williams go down last night, so I'm on the sideline. I'm not sure what his injury was, but we had a couple of injuries last night, some of them pretty significant. And I think that already clinching a playoff spot will allow us to allow guys to get healed up and not have to come back fast. So those are the things I noticed about the game. I thought it was a good, tough, fought out win. In fact, the game probably shouldn't have been as close as it was if the Ravens had to capitalize on mistakes, like when we got the turnover. I can't remember what kind of turnover it was, but we got the ball on their side of the field and we end up with a field goal. when we got the ball down to the 2 yard line, and then s- um, there was another mistake. So I watched a couple of mistakes happen that kind of was costly last night. There are some things we have to tighten up going into San Francisco, Miami, and Pittsburgh. So let me know what you guys want me to know, man, about what you guys saw last night. Um, as far as our injuries, I think that again, Mitchell is the biggest loss. Um, I think Marcus Williams could be a significant loss depending on how long he's out, especially since Mike McDonald had adopted that three safety look, which has been really effective. I don't know who's behind Geno Stone and Marcus Williams, and so we have to look into that. And so super concerned about some of these injuries that we just had, especially with a big matchup against San Francisco coming on next Monday night. So listen, I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and we are out.